Now the fourth type of letter that has to be prolonged is noon mushaddad. We know that whenever there is a noon which is mushaddad, which means that it has a sign of tashdid, it has to be prolonged. In the first example, we have a noon which has a tashdid, hence we have to prolong it. We will read it as innama, innama. In the second example, in the second word, we have a noon mushaddad as well. Similarly, this will be prolonged as well. Hence, we'll read it as ayyuhan nabiyyu, ayyuhan nabiyyu. In the third example, we have a noon mushaddad, hence we have to prolong it as well. So you will read it as la yamassananna allazina, la yamassananna allazina. The fifth type of letters that we have to prolong are the waw mushaddad, which we have learned in the lesson of idgham naqis. Hence, whenever noon tanween or noon sakin is followed by a waw, the first thing that will happen, the waw will be mushaddad. Similarly, in this case we have to prolong it as well. So we will read the noon sakin in the first example here as min wujdikum, min wujdikum. In the second example, there's a noon tanween which is followed by a waw. Similarly, we have to prolong the noon tanween here as well. So we will read it as khayrun wa abqa, khayrun wa abqa. Now the third example, we have to pronounce some more letters as we did in the previous examples. For example, we have a mim mushaddad, and afterwards we have a noon tanween which is followed by a waw. Then we have a tanween, noon tanween, which is followed by a waw again. Now all of these three letters have to be prolonged. So we will read it as ummatan wahidatan walakin, ummatan wahidatan walakin. Now we move on to the sixth type of letters that have to be prolonged. In the same lesson of idgham naqis, we learned that there are two letters, which is waw and ya, which have to be prolonged whenever they are preceded by a noon sakin or noon tanween. And now in this case, in the first example here, we have a noon tanween which is followed by a ya. Hence, we have to prolong the noon tanween. So we will read it as durriyun yuqadu, durriyun yuqadu. Similarly, in the second example, we have a tanween underneath the ya and followed by a ya. Hence, we have to pronounce this noon sakin, noon tanween here as well. And this will be read as lujjin yaghshahu, lujjin yaghshahu. Similarly, in the third example, we have a noon sakin which is followed by a ya. Hence, we have to prolong it as well. So this will be read as وَمَن يُضْلِلْهُ, وَمَن يُضْلِلْهُ. The seventh type of, which is the last type of letters that we have to prolong, we have learned them in the lesson of ikhfa. Now ikhfa, you have to remember that any letter besides haruf halki, haruf yarmalun or ba, when it follows noon sakin or noon tanween, it has the noon sakin or noon tanween in this case have to be prolonged. So we see in the first example that after Nun Sakin we have Qaf. Now Qaf is not a member of the groups of Harufi Yarmalun or Harufi Halki or Ba. Therefore, we have to prolong the Nun Sakin here. So we will read it as In kuntum, In kuntum. Please note that we have in this particular example two Nun Sakin which are followed by two of the letters which are not part of Harufi Yarmalun, Harufi Halki or Ba. The first one was Kaf and the second one Ta. Now both the Nun Sakins here will be prolonged. I will repeat it once again. In kuntum. Now in the second example here we have a Nun Tanween which is followed by Thad. Now since Thad is not part of the letters of Harufi Yarmalun or Harufi Halki and it's not a Ba, therefore we have to prolong the Nun Tanween here as well. So this will be read as قوما صالحين قوما صالحين. Similarly, in the third example, we have a Nun Sakin, which is followed by the Ta. Since Ta is not part of the letters of Harufi Yarmalun and Harufi Alki, and it's not a Ba, therefore the Nun Sakin here has to be prolonged as well. So we will read it as لن تنالوا البر لن تنالوا البر